In the beginning, we hear a story about a small demon that became friends with a village boy. They went to the kids' village where they played with the villagers, who were helpless but to join in. All the play led to the villagers neglecting their chores and obligations. An exorcist then arrived and witnessed what was going on, and the demon was sealed. After these events, the villagers host a festival every 11 years in the honor of that very demon. We come out of the tale seeing an exorcist Father Shiro reading a book to two boys. Rin and Yukio Okumura are then asked how they would have acted if placed in the shoes of the boy from the book. Fast forwarding 11 years into current day True Cross Town, we see Rin waking up aware he overslept and falling flat on his face. Two young onlooking boys ask him if he is okay before teasing him. A telling off follows, but is interrupted after Rin notices a festival poster, forcing him to continue running and moaning about his lateness. Small black floating ball-like creatures known as coal tars are visible all over the place. Those are airborne demons that are being drawn to humans with dark natures and introverts. We see the people of the city busily preparing for the upcoming festival. We then see Shura, and learn that the water levels have risen in the waterways, as a result of the Order of the Cross having to reinstall their magical barriers protecting people from the demons. We learn that the city's magical barriers need to be replaced by the Order every 11 years. At the train station we see Rin's brother Yukio and a young esquire Shiremi. They are waiting for Rin, who is obviously late. Yukio proceeds to telling Shiremi about their mission, which involves exorcising a phantom train. The train with a demonic presence arrives, and Shiremi looks inside, feeling kinda sad for the demon that is about to be exorcised. Since Rin is nowhere to be found, the two of them follow the train as it departs. Rin then shows up and somehow manages to catch up with them. Speeding down the tracks, Yukio breaks down how it is important that they exorcise the demon at the stroke of midnight. Shiremi and Rin decide to disobey their superior, after Shiremi says they can use a Chinese lantern plant to get the demons off the train in time. Yukio, when hearing his esquires were disobeying his orders, argues with his brother over his disobedience, replying that exorcists have to try to help people despite the odds. The conversation is interrupted when the demon, having realized its passengers were missing, comes to life as the two esquires are left scrambling to escape. At the same time, Shura and Chaing discuss the Okumura twins, revealing that allegedly Rin's powers were almost on par with the head demon Satan himself. Back at the tunnels, Rin is on the train now, slicing and dicing at the demon, engulfing himself in blue flames in the process. Being a half-demon spawn of Satan, one of his unique abilities is the blue fire that does not harm him but gives him an advantage when battling demons. Thrown below during the fight, Yukio and Shiremi blast their way back out of the cabin. Low on ammo, the two awaiting Rin have no choice but to pull the brakes on the trolley. Having split the demon in two parts, Rin continues to attack the demon as they crash out of the tunnel and into the water below. Falling debris disturbs a rabbit temple shrine and reveals an unconscious boy. Attempting to wake him, the boy utters the following words: "You are all wrong, all of you," before passing out. Chaing and Rin fight the demon that appears once again, but the demon escapes through the waterways. The next day at True Cross Academy, Yukio's spotless record is tarnished with a warning, and his esquires are being suspended and forced to draft apology letters for their actions. The exorcist continues telling Rin he has to grow up, and that he took needless risk which could have gotten people killed. We then see Rin strolling the hallways of True Cross Order HQ, and receiving a scolding from Shura, just before formally being introduced to Chaing Long, who is introduced as a senior class exorcist from Taiwan branch. The little boy Rin previously rescued then suddenly shows up, causing a great disturbance. Chaing's men manage to subdue him, exposing he is actually a demon. The demon then becomes Rin's responsibility. The next day, Yukio places a cage in Rin's room for the demon, and gives him homework to do for the duration of his suspension, using this as another opportunity to question whether he could make it as an exorcist. We see festival preparations underway, prior to Rin awakening to a wide-eyed demon staring back at him. After sharing water with the demon, Rin is rushing to the men's room to avoid him, using the cage as a toilet. Next we see fellow classmates of the academy walking in the sunset, dripping in orange demon ooze, whining about how dirty the training is for an exorcist. Upon entering the building they see Rin wrestling with the demon, so they all partake in shower to clean up the stinky little demon with laughs all around. When it is washed and put in fresh clothes, the demon manages to escape. Rin momentarily finds the demon perching on a column overlooking rubble in a sad state. Returning to the room, Rin cooks them a great meal, bonding him with the demon, and names him Yusamuro. Rin is retelling the story from the beginning, with a visibly anxious and impatient Yusamuro squirming in his lap. The childlike demon slaps the book down in disapproval, claiming the story was no more than lies. But it only gets him a scolding for damaging other people's things. Rin offers Yusamuro to share his bed, as he would not be getting much sleep due to his homework. Yukio later arrives, and sees Rin is having fun with the demon. He confronts Rin about his failure to complete his homework. He then leaves and has a flashback about the story from the beginning of the movie. He remembers how their father asked them, what would they do if they met a demon? The following scene sees Yukio disembarking and talking with Chang, where he shares with his colleague that it was his ancestor that sealed the demon from the story, confirming that things did happen as foretold in the old legend. The classmates are later seen playing baseball and at the academy's playground. The group encourages the pint-sized Yusamuro, who hits a home run. Overhead they are spotted by Chang and Yukio. Yukio is reminded by Chang that the demon is to be sealed pending the conclusion of the festival, also reminding him his brother should know his place in the order. The pair of exorcists then come across more remains of the trained demon from earlier. Returning to the dorms, the boys complain about fatigue from their obligations and not being able to enjoy in the festivities. Yusamuro asks if it was their chores preventing them from partaking in the fun, and then room fades to black as the demon starts consuming memories. Next we see how Yukio and Chang cannot get a line through to HQ, while uncovering the rubble where Yusamuro was rescued. Festival continues in full swing, and we see thousands are having great time enjoying the festival. We see our would-be exorcists in festival clothes dancing and enjoying themselves. Breaking through the crowd of festival goers, Yukio confronts Renzo about not being at their post and receives the same answers as earlier, with them swearing they do not remember having any duties. Yukio then has a fellow faculty member offer him a drink with others, and realizes something is wrong. The partying comes to a drastic halt as Yukio shoots down a mold demon, and Yusamuro gets lost in the confusion. Rin tracks him down and the two go to a nearby temple where they sit on a rooftop and look at the confetti-filled sky. Rin gets a flashback of Yukio crying, after getting lost at the same temple while he talks to Yusamuro. Rin discusses the loss of his father and the painful memories bring tears to his eyes. Yusamuro again asks if it would be easier without the bad memories. The scene darkens again and this time Rin notices something is wrong, when he can't remember his father from a memory. Chang arrives and kicks the demon, and Yusamuro shape-shifts into his true form of the blue fox demon, known as the Turner of Time. Snapping out of it, Rin grabs the darkness in his fist, finally comprehending that Yusamuro had eaten his memories, and knows why he was sealed centuries ago by Chang's ancestor. Yukio arrives and unsuccessfully tries to shoot Yusamuro. The demon escapes and continues to eat the memories on those on its path. Meanwhile, the whole city is under attack and all sorts of demons can be seen all over the place. Chang then explains to the twins how the demon manipulates time and feeds on memories. Yusamuro, finding himself alone in a dark tunnel, asks himself why everyone was so unhappy and remembers the day he was sealed. Rin then catches up to a crying Yusamuro. The trained demon attacks once again, and it forces Rin and Yusamuro down below, separating them from Yukio and Chang. Continuing the fight, Rin explains to Yusamuro that to be human means keeping the good with the bad memories, as he finishes off the trained demon with a strike from his sword. The huge demon is finally destroyed, and Yusamuro takes back his human form. Dust settles around them, as Rin gets Yusamuro to promise to never eat people's memories again. Shiremi breaks up the bonding, and tells them that the city is being evacuated, because it is overrun by coal tars, with the final barrier still being replaced by Shura. An overwhelmed Shura at the flood gate is supported by the paladin Arthur, as more coal tar continue to flood in around them. Back at headquarters, Shiremi wants to hide downstairs, but Yusamuro runs to the roof as we see the large scale of the coal tar swarm enveloping the city. The The twins spot the two boys who teased Rin earlier, and must blast their way through coal tars to them, before busting into a watchtower. Rin and his brother have nowhere to go, and they end up hanging down from the roof of the clock tower. We then see Yusamuro getting closer to the epicenter, and says he has to break his promise to Rin because it is the only way to save them. Reaching the top of the building in the middle of the swarm, Yusamuro screams and begins feeding on memories and time itself, as yellow light infuses and fights the black coal tar mass. We then go into a flashback montage that opens with Rin answering their father's question of what he would do had he found the demon in the story. Rin says how he would consider the demon a friend because of the good it did, and would try to befriend the demon. Rin then wakes up to his old room with the cage missing and starts worrying. He asks Yukio about Yusamuro, and hearing back that he did not know what he was, leaves campus and waves off his classmates as he passes them by. Returning to the temple, Rin finds Chang, and asks if he remembers what happened. He confirms he does, and that he was grateful to Rin for teaching him something he never thought he could: how to open the heart of a demon. The movie ends with Rin placing a bunny statue upon the shrine of the temple and promises to never forget Yusamuro. Hey, thank you for staying all the way till the end. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. It takes only a second, but it means everything to us. Have a great day and see you in the next video.